All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here for our first State Amateur Radio Club meeting on August 25th, 2022. For those of you who've already been here, and unfortunately we did not record, but we had Hussein from Kuwait try to do some QSOs. And Chet, were you successful at FT8 with him?
We did make an FT8 QSO, yes.
But you weren't able to do phone with him, right?
No, we didn't make a phone contact.
Okay. All
But
right.
we had one heck of a signal over there.
Yeah.
16 dB.
Wow, that's crazy. So it was very nice and learned a lot about how ham radio people, if they want to get their license, they have to work a whole lot harder at it than what we have to do here in the United States. But at this time, we'll go ahead and pause for the reading of the financial report, and then we'll be right back. Now go ahead and. All righty, old business. Mike, can you think of anything that we needed to go over?
I have at least one thing from the treasurer, but I don't see Bob on.
No, he's not, and I'll send him an email.
Okay, all right. So let's see.
We had talked about back to basics.
Yeah, we put that on hold. The grants we put on hold because we missed the June date. But that was the old business last month too. Are we bringing that up?
Well, the back to basics, I don't want to labor it too long because it is getting late, but I want all of you who have been hams for a long time. Mike and I were actually talking about this. You know, we're not extras, and we'd like to be, but there's just certain things that you can only read the ARRL book so much and read it. Electronics is not my strong suit. It's not Mike's either. So if any of you would like to mentor some of us who would like to get our extras in those areas, we'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe we can do something on a Saturday. Gather together. I'm sure I could locate something that we could be at to go over things. Think about it, guys, okay? I mean, seriously, really serious. You all have a lot of talent and knowledge, and we'd like to learn from that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. The grants, Foster, you are here. I don't know what to do about this. I think these grants are ongoing, and I think there was this big highlight. Joe Gribb, you are here. When you were section manager, do you remember the specifics of the grants?
The only thing I remember about the grant was there was a application that had to be put in, basically stating what the grant was going to be used for. I know that the best thing I can recommend for everyone to do that's involved with the grant is go to what is it, Ham Radio Online 2.0. That guy was paid or sanctioned by the ARRL to prepare a video on what is needed to fill out the application and what you have to do to get monies from the grant. So I would recommend doing that. Go through that video a couple of times so you know what you have to do, and then put together everything you need. Make sure the application is done online, but you can come back to it, but you do have to do everything in sequence. So if the application, I'm just picking something here. Let's say the application, and I don't know if it does, so don't get excited. But let's say the application asks for your tax number and you don't have that, you can't go any farther until you get the tax number. So you need to take a look at what needs to be done and have all your ducks in a row when you sit down to fill this out.
Okay.
What was that site?
What's that?
Well, what was that site, Joe?
I believe it's Ham Radio 2.0. It's the guy that does all those videos from down in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a video on how this grant program works and how to fill out the application. So you should be able to go to there and watch his video, and that should be pretty self-explanatory on what has to be done.
Okay. Yep, I got the link. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out again to Dave Stepnowski, KC3AM, and John D. Giovanni at 3LUD to see if there's anything that they would like to, because a lot of us cross over and we're members of all that, of both CARES and the DRA. And maybe there's something between the three of us that we can come up with. But if anybody knows of anybody who knows how to write a grant, besides filling out this form, that's one thing. But we also need somebody who's strong in grant writing. Get in touch with me and let me know. Okay.
Wendy, you
Yeah.
might want to reach out to your friends down the Sarah Club, because I think they put in for one too.
Did they already submit it, do you think?
I think they did. I didn't say they did. I think they did.
Okay,
Your mileage may vary here.
I'll get
So
in touch with
I
them.
would reach out to them and see if they did. I don't know if anybody in Kent County was doing anything.
I don't think that they were, when we met that Saturday night or
Yeah,
that.
I just think the guys you might want to talk to Barbara down there in the
Yeah.
Sussex Club and just ask her if she knows anything about it.
I will, because if,
But I won't wait. If it was me, I would not wait to the due date. You gotta
Right.
get this in.
So the June date is passed. That was the first tranche. And then
True.
there's a second one coming up soon, which is. the
Right,
second
about late
go-around.
last part of September.
Yes, last part of September is the next one.
right.
So, and for what it's worth, I write grants, not for a living, but for my nonprofit. And I submitted the two that I was interested in to the ARL in May, when you guys said that there wasn't time to really talk about it. And I submitted one of the balloon ones also to a group in Delaware Aeronautics. And that was actually granted and I got the check.
Nice.
Okay, good. Alrighty, all right, so Foster, we'll definitely get with you. I'll talk to Dave and I'll talk to John. And I'll also talk to Barb downstate and find out what it is that they submitted for, what they were looking for. And we'll revisit this very soon. And, even though I'm going to be away, I will have some email capabilities off and on, so we'll be in touch.
Okay, just a reminder, they're not waiting on those due dates for us to get our act together. They
Right.
close them and your window closes with it.
Right,
So,
oh, I know.
the thing about grant stuff is you have to get in early because there's a lot of people processing them.
Right, yeah, there is. And also we have to come up with what it is we want to do. And nobody seems to have anything solid, so we need to come up with that. So I'll be picking some brains here, like Paul Milazzo and Jerry and a few other people that I know have done really crazy and wild things with stuff. So if anybody else has some wild and crazy things that you want to see done, message me. All righty. So on to new business, Mike.
Yeah, I actually have a item for new business.
Okay.
We'd like to get approval to make a donation to Dave Mascara, who's the author of the scoring program that we use for our Delaware QSO party. We typically send them, I think, $100. So I'd like to put that out there for a vote.
I'd like to have a discussion on the amount that we would pay him. What would software that would run the algorithms that he's doing, what would that generally cost if we were paying for something like that? $100 a year seems to me a little pricey. I don't know. I'm throwing this out for suggestions and discussion.
I don't know. Maybe we don't pay him that much. I'd have to look. But what the donation to him is for the support that we get from him, the personal support that we get for him. So it's not for the software, it's for the personal support we get when we have issues with the scoring. He often gets back to Jerry sometimes within minutes, which is, very unheard of if you deal with software people often. But
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to your question.
I know a workman is worthy of their hire. So I'm not trying to shortchange anybody, but it just, how much time do we actually use of his time? And what would be a fair amount to pay him? So anybody have any suggestions or comments?
As somebody that was a professional consultant, $100 is a very reasonable rate for a software person to have on retainer and be able to adjust for the rules for the Delaware QSO party.
Okay, so how much, okay, number one, how much problems do we ever end up really having? And this is just for one thing.
So we have problems with submitted scores often. A lot of because there's so many different software out there that people use for logging, nothing comes in the same. Even though things are submitted in a standard format, Jerry and I spend a lot of time reformatting these logs so they could be scored correctly. And even with that, the scoring software is like, no, we can't understand that.
And then with the addition of FT8, which everybody wanted, it really increased the workload on Jerry and Mike and on Dave Mascaro to figure out how to take what most people won't take and get it into a format that we could score.
Okay.
And so basically the thing is Jerry, Mike, and I would spend hours and hours and hours trying to work through a problem with the software, or we send him an email and, sometimes within 5 minutes, but always within a few hours, we get a response with a fix, and he'll even score logs. I mean, if we have a log we can't score, we just send him the log and he'll send it back with the software patch that needs to do it, or tell us how he did it, and then it's scored, and then Jerry and Mike can figure it out after that. But Jerry and Mike both have written software to score this stuff. But actually the stuff that they wrote was to filter through and get scoreable logs mostly from FT8. And the first year was kind of a nightmare. The second year was better. The third year this year it wasn't too bad. Most people figured out the overlay, or they didn't participate. I'm not sure what it was, but we had a lot of FT8 logs, and the regular logs can be a nightmare because a lot of people use N1MM software, which is good software, but you have to know how to set it up properly. And if you don't, then they'll submit their log, and then Jerry will take the time to go through and fix it, or change the scoring software, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So then he'll send it off to Dave, and then it works. We never sent anything to Dave that he couldn't fix.
Okay.
It's like he's a member of our team working on it. That's what it feels like.
Okay. Alrighty. So you've brought this up. You've actually made a request to spend $100 to send to him. Any more discussion?
I got a question.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Have we given him a donation before previous years?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Cool.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion to vote on this tonight?
Second the motion and call for the question.
Okay, go ahead, Rich.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Go ahead.
No, I second the motion and call for the question, which is the vote.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, it means he suggests we stop talking about it and act on it.
Okay. Well, those all in favor
what it
of paying Dave $100 for his software time and energy, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody dissent? Okay, no dissension. So be it. Go ahead and tell him to generate a check.
thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, last month we had Jeff and Bob, Dr. Jeff and Bob Welch became members. We've got to get that. Let me see. Oh yeah, before the meeting even started, there was discussion and a question that was asked, what time does our meeting start? And the website will be updated. It didn't get updated a couple of months ago. The official start time of the meeting is 7:30. That 7:24 was something that from a long time ago for some meeting room that guys had to wait for. And it's just kind of an arbitrary thing. However, there was supposed to be donuts and, fellowship and stuff like that. So maybe we might want to think about, I personally couldn't go to dinner tonight because I'm leaving here. I'm going to lay down for a little bit before I drive out. But just wanted to know, what would we like to do before the meeting starts? If we get together at the church at 7:00, those of us who can make it, on the nights, is there a way that maybe we could have a little goodies or something like that? We haven't been consistent with anybody picking up. Look tonight, there's only 4 people there. So what do you guys want to do about that? The 4 of you were there.
My 2 cents is it got a lot harder once people were zooming in as
Mhm.
opposed to going. It was a lot easier to pick up donuts when everybody was showing up. I think once the tide flips and we have more people in person than remote, I think it'd be a lot easier to go back to having snacks and congregating beforehand.
Okay.
My 2 cents.
I
I know I
understand.
would love to be there.
Yeah. Zoom, one thing that the pandemic opened up for us was the ability for people who couldn't make it to meetings before start making them. And I was one of them. And it is a sacrifice to get up there some nights, even though I work from home. By the time I wrap things up and try and get out, it is an effort. And I appreciate everyone's time who did make it in person tonight. And those of us who couldn't, well, we all had various reasons why we can't. By the time we get off work, it's a schlep up there to North Wilmington for a lot of us who live down in the Newark area. So, we'll go ahead and revisit that. Also, somebody asked me too, what did we think about trying to have a picnic before the weather gets cold? And I know we've got the SET in October, which is the 22nd. I think there's some things that are going on the 1st and the 8th, but if I could get something like Brandywine Springs Park, which is kind of like in the middle of our destinations from the people from the north and coming up from the Newark area, would people be open to going on the 15th of October if I could get Brandywine Springs Park? And it would be, you could bring your families too. Just throwing that out there.
What day is that?
It's a
I don't have
Saturday.
the count.
October,
Oh, okay.
yeah, October 15th, on a Saturday. Weather won't be too cold. Hopefully it won't be raining. And there's a couple of pavilions there. And what I would do is reserve back one of the pavilions.
Wendy, how far is that for the guys who are below the canal, like myself and perhaps maybe even?
Are you familiar with where the Ellsworth VA hospital is?
No, sorry.
So it's off of Kirkwood Highway.
That part I do know. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, the old Sears.
Excuse me.
You know where
Kirkwood
Sears
Highway-
was?
No, if he doesn't know that,
Okay, well, I'm young, you might.
yeah, Kirkwood Highway and 41.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I have GPS. I have made the 21st century, so I should be okay.
Yeah, but I mean, just off the top of your head though,
yeah.
You happen to know where Price's Corner is?
Yeah.
Ask me about the Jersey Turnpike. I'm okay. Ask me about Delaware. I'm kind of lost.
All right.
So when
Sorry, Joe.
are you talking about the Wilmington and Western Railroad as opposed to Brandywine State Park, which is up?
Brandywine Springs Park.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it, right. Falkland
Okay.
Road, Falkland
Yeah.
Road and 41, yeah.
Yeah, a century ago was a big deal, but
Yeah, it used to be, that area used to be at the turn of the 19th century and going into the 20th century, it was a park. It was an amusement park. It was called Brandywine Springs.
Yeah.
And I'm a member of the Friends of Brandywine Springs, whatever that is. They do archaeological digs once a month, and they've found footers for the various things that they had there. They used to have a lake in there, and of course, that's all
cool.
filled up down stuff. But the Western Wilmington and Western Railroad does ride through part of it, so there's you'll see that they those two clubs kind of work hand in hand together. But when I used to live in Marshallton, I used to go to their meetings regularly every month. So are any of you that are on the call right now, any of you interested in going? If we get a decent enough turnout, would you bring your families if they would want to go?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
just depends on what time it is.
I mean, it would be a picnic time, so we would do like, 10 to 2 or 11 to
Yeah.
3
I'd be out then.
because, okay, so what time would be?
Soccer. No, it just, like if it was an evening thing, we'd be able to make it, but an afternoon thing, I won't be able to make it, sadly.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would be there, and I know my son would want to come and he'd drag some others, but
Okay. All right, well,
fall is weekend soccer.
all right, so what I'll do is I'll do a little survey thing. I'll send it out through the email link, see what kind of responses we get, suggestions for time. I'll put in there too, and we'll take it from there and see what goes on. But that's the Saturday I'm kind of leaning for before we get into the Delaware set, which is the following Saturday. Okay. Anybody else have any new business they'd like to discuss?
Did you say the Delaware test was the following weekend, Delaware set test?
Yeah, so Dave Scott, go ahead and talk to them about the SET.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed something. Good.
Yeah, no, what we're gonna do, the Saturday will be a statewide portion. That is currently under development, beginning on that Monday through Thursday. Based upon kind of the successful formats that we've had up here for the past several years. The Monday through Thursday, we're looking to have both a daytime and evening component where, one night might be WinLink peer-to-peer, one night might be simplex message traffic thing and so on. So kind of like what we've done the past couple of years. A lot of people like that. If you miss one night, you can pick up another. If you can't make one night, you might be able to make an afternoon session. That Friday we'll have off, and then the Saturday will be the statewide activity. So I'm in the process of trying to solicit folks to help me out with the game plan for the Monday through Thursday stuff.
Is that the week of the 17th or the week of the 24th? Oh, sorry. Is that the week of the 17th or the week of the 24th?
No, it'd be whatever that Monday is. The 17th sounds about right. If Saturday's the
Okay.
22nd, so
Okay, so and the statewide test would be the Saturday, the 22nd.
correct.
Gotcha.
Anyone else have any new business you want to bring up?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, no, not yet. Joe, since you are our section manager, second in command, any ARRL update?
No, not this time. I haven't really heard anything out of the league right now. I'm sure things will start picking up once Labor Day passes, but right now, no.
Okay, all right, very good. All righty, since there was no other new business,
I have an old business item.
you have an old business item that we missed?
Yes. Did we make the certificate of appreciation that we discussed last month?
Negative.
Okay.
Let's talk.
By the way, I'm good. You have to realize that you do publish the minutes online.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate the concept, but I'm good.
It was slightly a test to see who reads them.
Foster, for somebody who is not a member, for your various reasons, you are appreciated for all the efforts and work that you do.
You're
So-
quite welcome. Happy
All
to
right. All right, so Tom is chomping at the bit to make a motion. Go ahead, Tom.
Already made it. Make a motion that we
I will
stop.
point out that a motion to adjourn is always in order.
Yeah, motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, anybody?
Enthusiastically seconded.
Seconded by Dave. Everyone have a great rest of your week. Mark Stillman put on the 7.0 repeater an Echo Link thing that he's hosting up at his house. So, well, if you happen to want to talk to me, I'll be on 7.0 during some of my trip out. Anyway, catch up with you all next, off and on through Echo Link, and maybe catch up with some of you on HF. I'll let you know when I'm set up out in Grand Junction, and maybe we can make some QSOs from there.
Yeah, we'll do that. Find a park and set up camp. We'll try to find.
Well, I'll be in a number of camps. I know Jerry's bringing his freak out, so if my 891's not getting on, his 7300 should get on. So between the two of
Have a
us.
safe drive.
Yeah.
Safe travels, man. Safe travels.
Have fun. Bye.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
My back can't take it.